You can't keep the genie in the bottle. And by that I mean once a problem arises, ignoring it and hoping that it's going to get better is never the answer. It always gets worse. Well, that's a lesson I learned early on in my corporate career. But I had a meeting with my marketing manager and I was describing to him 3 issues that mentees are dealing with. And his comment was, boy, that's some heavy shit. And it's true, it is some heavy shit. But each one of those, with the possible exception of the last one, and I'd argue that that was not the case either, all of those got worse over time. And with that situation, leadership is, as you look at it, very important, is that I am a full disclosure guy. And one of the things I learned early on was that if I keep those problems to myself, not only do I rob myself of time to fix it, but most of the time, those problems affect other people, whether that is your board, your spouse, your partner, whatever person or persons that are affected by that, it affects those people. Oftentimes, those people, particularly if they're board or professional advisors, can offer solutions that would alleviate, if not solve, the problem. It also oftentimes is that those problems are time sensitive. I remembered in my corporate career, once we went public, we had numbers to hit and we hit those numbers. And each of the divisions hit those numbers. And most of the time, if we were talking about revenue, the manufacturing facility knew that they were not going to get the product out the door in time. That didn't happen all the time, but it happened certainly sometimes. And so I remember one where on a Friday afternoon where we closed the quarter on that Saturday, I got a call saying, oh, by the way, it was like 5 o'clock on Friday. By the way, we're going to miss by $1 million. Well, it was my job to make sure that we weren't going to miss by $1 million. So I ended up calling a customer. They agreed to take $1 million worth of product, but to ship by Saturday noon. They extracted a heavy price and discount to do that. Now, had I known about that earlier, I would have been in a position to take some other actions, but I was run out of time. And so a few things are going to happen. One, if you ignore it, if you think you can keep that genie in the bottle and you're wrong, you've robbed yourself of time. You've robbed yourself of solutions. But even as important as that is, and it certainly is important, what you've done when that blows up, you've robbed yourself of the trust of the people around you. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't we fix this earlier? And you have no good questions for that. But there's a tendency, as I said at the beginning, to think that these problems get better in time. My experience is that that is not true. They almost always, if not always, get worse. So remember, full disclosure. That doesn't mean that you just say, oh, here's the problem, what should I do? Go to those people, say, here's the situation. I've thought about some solutions. Here are those solutions. What do you think? But I wanted you to know what we're dealing with as you talk to those people. And that process in and of itself will build trust. You will learn, as I have learned, and most of my successful mentees have learned, that there are always problems. They are inevitable. How you deal with those problems, that's the real key. So, as I looked at those 3 situations, and each one of them would have been better if addressed earlier, remember that. When there's a problem, take it out of the bottle. Let the smoke look at you. You figure out what to do with it. Talk to the people, confirm that's the right action, and take action sooner than later. And if you do that, a lot of those problems will be fixed, and you will have a much better relationship and trust with those around you. If you like these videos, like and subscribe. Go over there now and do that. And give me some topics that you'd like me to talk about. My intent is not that I learn lessons, although I often do that for mentees, but the content that I put out is something you can use to either get your first acquisition or manage your acquisitions better or build your board better, wherever it is in terms of the step you're at. But that input would be helpful to me. But yes, the genie, you're not going to keep it in the bottle. So take it out, look at it, address it, and it'll be gone.